The world is veiled in darkness. The wind stops, the sea is wild, and the earth begins to rot. The people wait, their only hope a prophecy. When the world is in darkness, 4 warriors will come. After a long journey, 4 young warriors arrive, each holding an orb. Welcome, guys, to a favorite game from my childhood, and one that you're probably very familiar with already. This is Final Fantasy for the NES. And I'm going to be playing through the whole thing here on camera. For a lot of games like this, I would probably do my grinding off camera. But because this is just something that I enjoy and can talk about probably endlessly, I'm going to do everything on camera. So if you want to skip grinding, I'll let you know when I'm going to be doing a little bit, and you'll be able to just go on and skip ahead in the video. If you're fine with that, however, this is a good series to just kind of listen to me talk and relax and chill out. So, without further ado, let's put together our 4-man party. We're going to talk about Final Fantasy, the game, a little bit here as we do this. This was, and I'm going to have, let's see, what do I actually want as my main party member? Red Mage, kind of awesome. We're going to go with Red Mage, and that's going to be... How many letters? Oh, I only get 4 letters. That's right. This is the NES. Alright. Oh, no, that's not. I can't. This was a nebulous control scheme back in the day. Okay, there we go. So, this was going to be the very first game, or the very last game, rather, made by Square. Back when they were Squaresoft a long time ago. You see, they used to be in kind of bad financial situation, and things weren't going real good for them, so they kind of had to look and say, you know, we're going to be out of money soon. We got enough to make one last game. So what do we want to do? Well, at that time... Oh, sorry. Got backed up there. Oh my god, this control scheme is so irritating. No, don't do that. Oh my god, I gotta go back and do my naming. At the time, there was another popular game called Dragon Quest. It was made by Enix. And it was an RPG, and it kind of showed the world, so to speak, that RPGs could be pretty successful on the NES. Get a fighter here. And that convinced Hironobu Sakaguchi, who was in charge there, to go for a fantasy RPG. So since it was going to be their last game, they named it Final Fantasy. And it was kind of a Hail Mary, hoping that it would make them some money and give them something to, you know, break apart on before they had to go their separate ways. We're going to want a Black Mage. This is going to be a very magic-heavy party, probably. I don't know, I might want a White Mage, too. Because if what I take here determines what I'm going to take for my other character. Because I like a Red Mage. I like the Fighter. White Mage would be good because of the end of the game. They're a very useful party member because they get a good weapon. But Black Mage is just generally awesome. I could take a Black Mage and a Black Belt who would get really strong. I think... Well, I know Serge likes Black Mages, so... And he's my co-host here, so let's give him a NES-friendly name there. Serge. There we go, there's Serge. And unfortunately, me and Nori have 4-letter nicknames. Let's go... Oh my gosh, what are we gonna... We're gonna have to have a, have a White Mage, probably. But if I have my Red Mage, I guess I don't really need a White Mage. I might be missing that in the future. Let's just... Hang on, let's go ahead and change that class. I'm gonna go with a Black Belt, actually. That's 2 fighters. It's either Black Belt or Thief for me. This is a fun thing about this game. This is something that no RPG really did at the start, was let you build this free-form party, and... This wasn't something that was thought about really heavily back then, but it really let you break the game, and that was another new thing. There are some party compositions that are just unstoppable, and some that are terrible. I think For this, I'm gonna go with the black belt, because I have not played with a black belt in a long time. So, yeah, let's go with black belt. Oh, I've gotta rename Surge, I messed up. I hate the control scheme on this, because it's so... Well, it's a NES, so it's kind of primitive and limited. Well, we get SRGE, we'll spell him out, that will work. And another friend of mine who would probably be a black belt, we'll go with Carmine. We'll probably have videos on here sooner or later. No, not Care. Carm. There. Okay, there's our party. We got Kay, Nori, Surge, and Carm. Alright. And because I'm in front, I get my awesome red mage on the world map. Let me see if I remember my controls. Okay, there we go. So, here's a few things you'll need to know about the game if you're unfamiliar with Final Fantasy. Which would be hard for you to be, but for our purposes of our argument, we'll say you are. Up there in the corners are 4 orbs, which are always in all caps. They are basically the game's progress meter. Once they're all lit up, we'll be ready to move into the end game. We have 400 gold, that's our money to get us various equipment. You're going to see magic works a little differently in this game. This game borrowed heavily from Dungeons & Dragons. It actually has Vancian spell casting, if you're familiar with Dungeons & Dragons. Most of the monsters are ripped straight out of the Dungeons & Dragons monster manual of that time. They borrowed very heavily, in proud tradition of the day, back before people cared about copyrights as much as they do today. Okay, so we're gonna head into town. We need to stock up before we go do what we gotta do. This is called Conaria, the Dream City. It's not, actually. They misspelled it. I'm Erlon the Dancer. I love some of the Englishy texts in here, like, see your face upon the clean water. How dirty! Come, wash your face. Now, we're gonna visit a few people here. Well, you might think there's something to it, but in fact it is just an ordinary well. This game has a strange sense of humor. Warriors! Revive the power of the orbs! Okay. Well, before we go anywhere, we need to visit some of the shops. Let's see, the princess. Yeah, there's a lot going on. We'll get into this soon. Now, if you played older, or I guess newer Final Fantasy games in this case, when you walk into a shop, you usually just see a new map and you go talk to the shopkeeper. But in this game, all of the shops are just menus with the graphics on them. It's kind of neat. They had to cut a lot of corners because of how simplistic the game was. They were really limited by the NES in a lot of ways. But it's still amazing what they were able to do, because this really was kind of a revolutionary title. Let's see, who will learn the spell? Well, I would like to have Surge learn Fire. Everything is very truncated, as you notice. This is the B-Magic shop, and the spells are Fire, Slep, Lock, and Lit. These would be Fire, Sleep, Paralyze, I'm guessing, and Lightning. I'm not going to buy any other spells for Surge yet. He only really needs one right now. And I'm going to go to the White Magic store, and I need to buy Cure, definitely, for me. And I'm thinking about buying Harm, but really Surge's Fire would take care of the undead, because all undead are weak to fire in D&D tradition. Fog. I can't remember what the hell Ruse does, but it wasn't important. So I'm actually going to go get some more black magic. I am going to give me some lightning, and that should be good. We have very little gold left, so we gotta be careful with it. Lucan left this town to join his colleagues at Crescent Lake. We have no idea who Lucan is. We don't know him from Adam right now, so we'll see him later. Making it sure that someday the Light Warriors will come to save the princess, just as in Lucan's prophecy. Okay, so Lucan's some kind of prophet. Good to know. What is this place? This is the clinic. It's a church and the other incarnations of the game. And that dude that we've got there, man, look at the guy who runs the clinic. He has got the biggest dome of anybody in the NES, I think. This dude is straight up out of Bonk's Adventures. are you? You say the princess. A lot of the villagers just sigh times or toughs you a lot. The inn's down there. We can get healed there. We need to look at our inventory now. Oh, no, I don't want to search. What do people have on? Oh, that's back out. Okay. Weapons. None of us have any equipment, do we? We are naked. Okay, so let's get at very least our... Oh my god. NES controls. A and B being in the wrong place for me to make sense of them. I need to reverse that in my controller. A small sword for Nori. A pair of wooden chucks for Carmine, who will need weapons at least for a while. Later on, he will actually be much tougher without a weapon. That was actually due to a glitch in the game. That wasn't intentional, but it became a very popular thing, so they left it in a lot of the incarnations of the game, that the black belt actually gets strong enough that he's better without a weapon than with one later. I kinda need a small sword too, because I will be doing a whole hell of a lot of attacking. And let's go ahead and get Serge a staff. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you're not familiar with a red mage, you probably know what a black mage is. Serge there's a black mage. He casts the spells that makes the people fall down. Carmine is a black belt, not to be confused with a black mage. There's no white belt like there's a white mage. We didn't have a white mage. They're the healer. Carmine is a black belt. He's a very powerful damage dealer, though not so great at taking hits all the time. He kind of dodges instead of absorbs. Nori is a fighter, which is a very potent damage-dealing class that will also be taking a lot of damage in the future. And I am a red mage. The thief is another dodgy kind of thing like a black belt. But I'm the red mage. I can fight in melee, but not quite as good as a fighter. I can take hits, but not quite as good as, say, a black belt. I can cast black magic, but not as good as a black mage. And I can heal, but not as good as a white mage. So I'm actually a very interesting class. I'm good at everything, but not great at anything. Let's go ahead and equip our equipment. We need some armor, too, or we're going to be taking scads of damage from even the simplest enemies. Oh, that chain is so good, but for now we're just going to buy 4 sets of cloth armor, I feel. Get one for Nori. I'd like everybody, even Serge needs to be able to take hits, because there is no... Like, they will prioritize the tank character over the squishy character. They just attack whoever, so you need everybody to be able to at least take a couple hits. Pretty low on funds right now, so let's go ahead and equip our armor. Okay. And there was one more store that we need to visit because we're going to need some items. This is the item shop here, denoted by the little pot. And it's apparently operated by Mario. You'll notice items are unbelievably expensive. Heal is a potion that restores your life. Pure restores your... I think that gives you poison. I think it's rid of poison. And the tint is what you need to be able to heal out in the field your whole party. We can't afford any of that stuff right now. Let's Provoca, a beautiful port city far east of here. Okay, well that's nice. We've gotten set up for the adventure. We've talked a little about the game. We're going to talk a little bit more about it next episode. And I will see you then, because we're on the way to the castle, and we're out of time for this episode. So I'll see you guys next time for more Final Fantasy.